Hey there, everyone. This is John C. Morley, Sir Entrepreneur here, coming at you tonight, which is January 19th. And if you are new to my streams, welcome. We share lots of great information, usually in nugget form, and we do anywhere from 5 to 7 episodes a week with one specific series topic that we talk about in more detail each day. If you are one of my loyal subscribers and viewers, well, welcome back. It is so great to have you here. Tonight, we are talking about how to deal with liars. Thus, go ahead and give me some love, support, like, insight, whether you're on Facebook, John C. Morley, your entrepreneur page, uh, LinkedIn profile, John C. Morley, and John C. Morley, Serial Entrepreneur YouTube page, and the last page, which is Twitter and Periscope. Of course, we don't want to forget about those. And why not give me some love and, put some comments below. Have you had an issue with a liar? Let me know. Let me know that if it will or if it won't. Um, and so, what I want to share with you is that you need to be able to understand that a liar is not a person, it's a behavior. Okay. It is a behavior. And so, what I want you to understand that if we can understand a behavior, right, and we can understand why somebody lies, well, then that may change how we go about doing something. So, again, let's talk about the type of liars. Okay, we've talked about this a little bit before, but there are different types of liars in our world. Now, what's he talking about by different types of liars? Well, the best way to explain this to you in a short form, because I could do the long form, if someone lies intentionally, okay, they may be doing it because they just want to get you upset or push your buttons. Um, they lie basically for the fun of it. And they get really charged and amused by entertainment. It gives them this sort of sense of power and control. And it's like people are figures on a checkerboard or a chessboard, and they feel like they're a kingpin, you know? An intentional liar is that high school jock who may ask the popular girl to prom, and then he has the nerve to tell her it was just a prank in front of all his friends. They give short information to get a reaction, and then they say in a mean spirited way, I was just blanking with you. Sometimes this liar seems to be a jokester. They're often cruel because they can hurt people's emotions and feelings. Now, they're not ranked higher than the pathological liar because um, that liar is by possessing awareness, and they at least have the capacity to change. So that's the main difference. All right. We talked about the protective liar. We talked about that, right, for your own safety. And we said those things are okay. Then we have one that's avoiding you. This is a liar who opts out of family dinner. They can't stand the mother in law, father in law, and they just avoid people. They oversleep in. They tell their boss that they got a flat tire when they really didn't. And this liar is one who maybe spills the red wine, and then has the nerve to blame it on the dog. They're a little frustrating. Then there's the one that's kind of impressive. This person may see themselves not as a liar, but they don't even realize that they're being deceitful. They're just doing it because they're living this impressive lie. And it can be a problem. They're not really a big risk to people, but why do you want to spend your time with someone who feels they need to pretend about everything in their life? There's one that we call a tactful liar. They're appearing to be considerate and somewhat well-meaned. They're pretty optimistic. And when things aren't going well and find themselves saying things like, it wasn't that bad, when indeed it was. They're pleasant to be around, but they'll be a little edgy sometimes. So when we think about liars in life, they really can affect somebody's condition, their well-being, okay? And how do you handle any liar? Well, I think the most important thing to know is that someone's lying because they're trying to alter a situation. Okay? When someone lies frequently, it's like second nature to them. They do it all the time. Then there's the dramatic liar. That's the one that uses emotional chords to get others close to them to believe, yes, they're lies. They use all kinds of drama to generate empathy, and they just keep pouring it on thick until you believe that they're who they say they are when they're not. Then there's that forgetful liar, the one that, lies about something and then they have to give another lie to cover that lie, and another lie to cover that lie, and another lie to cover that lie, and another lie to cover that lie. And eventually they forget. And so they get confused. Then there is what we call the liar death pillar. This is the person that has lied, but when they're caught, they suddenly turn the situation around. And they're extremely toxic to be with. Then we have a self-liar. It's one that deceives themselves all the time. Person that lies to himself since he does not want to, or maybe incapable of accepting the reality. So, how do you handle a liar? Well, I think the biggest thing to understand about a liar is that they're doing what they can to basically get through life. They're deceitful. They could be dupulous. They could be delusional. They could be demoralized. Just to name a few types, right? And when somebody finds out that you have a reputation for lying, you suddenly get removed from their circles. You don't get asked to participate. And it's like a new world is formed and you're not in it anymore. That could be a little bit annoying. But liars exist because of a condition. Okay? A lie is, as we say, a statement that is made intentionally false. And when you know somebody's lied to you and you can't figure out why they lied, but are they going to lie again? Or was this just one time? And will you ever trust them again? There are some people that lie occasionally. It's not something that should be celebrated, of course, or definitely not accepted. But it's one of the better types of liars if there was one that you had to fall into. And dealing with a liar can be really, really challenging because it not only can affect a relationship, your integrity, your self esteem, other people's self esteem, but it can permanently scar you and put programs in your head permanently that will change where you want it to go, even though that's not something you really want, just because you keep hearing things over and over again from your loved ones. I know that when you hear the word lie, you're probably like, okay, it's just something that happens and I'll just deal with it. But do you know the more that you try to deal with it and just sweep it under the rug, the more that person believes that they can just keep going like that Energizer bunny, right? Over and over and over again, and keep doing it because they're getting away with it. And hey, why not continue? How do you know if somebody's lying intentionally or somebody's just lied in error? Well, one thing, if the person's looking at you and their eyes are kind of, like going going up one direction, there's a chance that they're probably creating something. And if that happens, it's a good shot that they're lying. If somebody looks you in the face and tells you something, they're probably not lying. But if somebody starts giving you more details about a situation, like making it so dramatic, and you feel this has to be true, probably isn't. Why? Because they're trying to convince you. That's right. They're trying to convince you that there's something else. So the eyes, right? Someone is lying. They might stare or look away at that crucial moment. Another sign might be moving their eyes around as they try to think about what they want to say next because they're in a very deep pool and they don't know how to swim. There were researchers actually that conducted a study at the UCLA, and they found that people who lie are more likely to purse their lips when asked sensitive questions. Will a liar ever change the behavior? Sure, you can change. One way to get somebody to change if they're a liar is you lose respect for them. And if they really want to earn your trust back, they're going to change their behavior almost on a dime. I think the hardest thing for most people to understand is that a liar is not a person, but instead someone that is just acting out certain behavior. And we talked about types of liars, right? But people that lie fall into categories, as we said. And so if someone just lied to you right now, chances are there's a very good reason to why they lied. We talked about the kid in school before, right? And what happens there. But suppose your lie, even though it seemed kind of innocent to you, actually made the difference in someone's life to the type of career they were going to have. That's not really good, is it? And so I think the best thing I can tell you is that a liar is going after food, not the food you eat, but let's call it that food, that emotion, that charge, that feeling of control, of power. They're doing it for a reason. They're not doing it just to lie. We talked about protection. We talked about control. We talked about, the fact of maybe just having fun with you, just getting entertained by you. Now, these are all bad things, except for the one I told you of protection. But how do you handle a liar? I think the biggest thing you have to understand is that a liar is not in their right frame of mind. They did something, and now they're either ashamed of it and they don't want to tell the truth. So they lie because they feel that lying is actually going to protect them. Now, that's not the protection I was talking about. Protect them in the sense that it's going to put a veil over them, like, it can't be me. Like if there's a criminal and your alibi seems to fit, then you must not have been at the scene of the crime. But if you lied and eventually they figure out that there's no way that you could have been home because they checked and they saw that your license plate was literally half a block from the scene 2 minutes after the crime happened, that's a problem. So most people will believe the statement until it can be proven to be false. We've heard the statement before in court, you're innocent until proven guilty. Although I think it's changed a little bit that you're more guilty until proven innocent. I mean, that's just kind of how I see sometimes it's going. But I think the most important thing when we think about a liar is, do we understand what he or she is doing? Or are we just trying to figure out how to get around them? And I think we don't want to know how to get around them, but we want to learn why they're lying. And then what does that play in our life? If they lie and tell a fib or something more serious, how does it affect us? And how does it affect the people around us? Think about that. Well, go ahead and tag your friends, colleagues, and associates. Remember to share this out to everyone you know here on the social media. I am John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur. It's been a privilege, a pleasure, and an honor to be with you this evening, as it is every evening. I hope you'll go to my YouTube channel, John C. Morley, space serial entrepreneur. Look for the key phrase to help keep our content free. And below that, make the choice to buy my team and I a cup of coffee. We'll be so grateful with those pennies, those dollars. We'll invest into new hardware, new technology, and equipment to give you the most jaw-dropping, motivational content to get you inspired into action. And in our case, to get you to understand about liars, why it shouldn't be done, and how do you not become a victim when you've been lied to. Have yourself a great night, everyone. I'll be back this evening with another cast just for you about how to deal with a liar.